Alright, now it's time for Hiru's Q&A number 37, a series in which I answer questions from my last Q&A video. So let's see, I have some talking points over here. New Year's resolutions. I don't do those. I think it just says New Year's. Yes, it was New Year's. Do any of you guys have New Year's resolutions? I mean, I don't do that because I have this whole philosophy of if you're going to make a major life decision, the best time to do it is as soon as you have the thought. And I base my entire life around that, where just one day I'll be like, oh, I should probably start making YouTube videos. Let's do that immediately instead of like, oh, I should wait for the new year and do that on New Year's, or I should go running. Maybe I'll wait for New Year's Eve. No, how about I just do that immediately? I should start a diet. I'm not going to wait till New Year's. I should just do that literally right now. Best time to start something is like as soon as you get the thought and not put it off till later. Not even put it off until tomorrow, just immediately. For the normal people who don't make major life decisions based on whims like that, I'd assume New Year's is a special event for some people. Okay, so enough about that. I told myself I wouldn't get sidetracked for this one. So let's go straight into the questions, I guess, since there's not really much to talk about. So in the last Q&A, I asked what jobs you guys have, because I was curious, because I thought I'd get some interesting answers. And I did. I also got a whole bunch of them, so I only copied and pasted a little bit of them. So let's see, some of the jobs you guys have, because my job, as some of you may know, is to make YouTube videos. So you're kind of looking at it. So let's see. I'm a junior accountant, boring ass job, and here in Romania it pays like shit. About $300 a month. That is pretty bad. I don't have a job yet. I just entered high school. So I plan on applying in the new year. Don't get a job in high school. That's the worst. I had a job in high school and I was busy all the time because of football and my part-time job. But it was nice being able to buy stuff. I'm not gonna lie about that. It was also nice being able to afford my WoW subscription. Wouldn't have been able to do that without my job. I'm a general manager for a towing company. Thanks for the vids. Wow, general manager. I work in tools at Lowe's. I'm an army vet figuring my life back out. Maybe school, but I'm 30, so I don't know. We'll see. Never too late to go back to school. That's my motto. Never too late to do anything, really. I mean, TM, there's always going to be some exceptions. As a general rule, most older people don't like to make life decisions because they already are set in their ways, and I'm not going to get into more of this because I'm saying this like I know what I'm talking about, and I kind of do, but I also kind of don't. So how about I don't spout out my uninformed opinions on the subject and just go on to the next one. Client support specialist. Basically a glorified password restorer. What? I do more in-depth application tech support, know my full potential, because then I'd be roped into some sort of management position or higher level of technical, know my full potential. I think I read that twice. Using my intelligence for video games, beating the crap out of my dad and husband at chess. And a note, I'm middle-aged and already went through the aforementioned management position and high-level software and hardware tech support. It was unfun. I can see that. I never liked being a leader. Like, whenever there was group projects, or when I used to run a raid team, it was not fun being in charge of other people, and is a huge pain in the ass. And I'd much rather be a follower who can make suggestions if I think the leader's an idiot. That's my more preferred thing, although considering I run my own YouTube channel and I hire editors to do stuff, I guess I am kind of... Dang, I never really noticed that until now. That sucks. I should just, like, hire someone, a manager, to deal with all that for me so I don't have to. That'd be neat. That'd be really cool if I could... You know what? Never mind. Let's just not go on that trail of thought and continue. No sidetracks today. I'm a student aide for the science classes in my community college right now. I essentially prepare / clean / maintain the lab room and such. A student aide for science classes? So like a maid? Kind of? I'm a graphic designer for a few supplement companies in South Florida. I mostly design products, labels, and branding. Oh, that's a cool job. I'm on my way to become a pharmacist, currently studying. It's really fun, but also takes up a lot of my time. I frequently have to sleep less than I should. I've never actually done an all-nighter or stayed up late to study. I sometimes have stayed up late to finish videos, but only because I knew I can get them done in a couple more hours, not because I was like, I'm going to stay up all night until I finish this. I thought that once. I was like, I'm going to stay up all night until I finish this video as punishment for procrastinating for the last couple days. And I ended up finishing the video in like 2 hours. I was like, wow, that was a lot less work than I thought it would be. So that just kind of motivated me to work a little bit faster. Alright, so I think that's it. There's a couple other people who posted their jobs, but it was a lot to copy and paste onto this little fact sheet right here. So let's actually go into some real questions. First, real question. Which era of WoW gives you the fondest memories / is your favorite? It could be a patch or an expansion or whatever. Makes it even better. Let's see, fondest memory? Definitely when I first started playing the game. And I leveled up my Tauren, Hunter, and Mulgore. That was so much fun because I had already played a whole bunch of browser-based MMOs before, and all of those games have like a stamina bar where you can only do so many actions per day before you have to like rest. It's kind of like the mobile games, how you can only do so many things, then you have to wait, like 8 hours for it to refresh, and then you can go in and do more stuff, or you can pay more money to do more now. That's what mobile-based, browser-based MMOs were like. Or I assume they're still like that. I say that like they're no longer a thing. I'm pretty sure they're still there. It's just, when I went into WoW, there was no waiting. You could quest as much as you wanted. You could kill as many monsters as you wanted. There was no limit to it, and there was so much to explore. I was like, oh my god, this is great. I don't think I'll ever stop playing this game. Why? This is so addicting. I can see why people always talk about how addicting WoW is now, because there's no cap. You can level as much as you want. It's so funny thinking back on that. But man, I played so much. I was just so in awe about how you could just level as much as you wanted. I was like, this can't be right. How do people not get addicted to this game if you can just level as much as you want? Isn't there supposed to be restrictions? Okay, so let's see. Next question. Hiru, can we still expect the 3rd season of Dave and Devbot in January? I love this series and looking forward on YouTube. You can expect the first episode of season 3 of Dave and Devbot in January. I make no promises for the rest of this season though. Just because the first episode of the 3rd season will be a huge exposition dump, where I basically just explain a whole bunch about the world. And I plan on doing it in like a podcast style, where I don't actually animate everything, and I just have them like walk into this room, and I'll just have it explained that way. It's like, why are we in this room to have this conversation? I'll be like, oh, it's so the person who animates this doesn't have to, animate it. It'll make it a lot easier. Something like that. And it'll be uploaded over on DevBot's channel. That's where I'll do all the Dave and DevBots until like the whole season is completed. And then I'll upload the full season onto the main channel. Whenever that's done. 3rd season, I already have it planned out. And I already have the scripts for all of it. It seems neat. It seems like a huge pain in the ass to make though. So I am not in a hurry to do that because there's other things I want to do as well. And Dave and DevBot is incredibly time consuming for how little views it gets. It's like a pure passion project at this point where I can't really justify any time spent on it as work. And it's just pure, doing it for fun or because I want to. So next question. So, I want to know why you was kicked from your guild. I think you said before that they hated your guts for good reason, but why did they? What did you do? Been going through all your Q&As and had about 1 million questions to ask, but always forgot about halfway through a video as they're so long. Yep, I get that too. When I'm watching a video, I was like, oh, I'll ask that in a comment at the end of this video, then I forget when the video is over. But so good to watch to get a little bit of insight about you. Love your vids, and hope you keep doing them for a long time. Me too. Alright, so why was I kicked from my guild? You know, I actually answered this question in a Q&A once. But I deleted it. Because I was like, there's no way I can tell this story without giving out personal information about people I'm still friends with to this day. And I couldn't really think of a good way to summarize it. So, TLDR, too long didn't read, really short summarized version of it, why I was kicked out. Because of just standard guild drama involving women, but for like a whole bunch of different reasons. Man, I cannot summarize this without getting into information. So, there were a couple of females on the raid team that I was friends with, which made a lot of the males on the raid team jealous. Plus, they thought I was giving them preferential treatment, as in not calling them out for mistakes as much as I'd call out the other people. Which was correct, which is why I said they had kind of good reasons for it. But, I mean, really, is that something you kick someone out of the guild for? No, it's for a whole bunch of other things that I can't go into more details about. But that is like a super basic gist of it. Just standard guild drama involving jealousy and other women on the raid team. And I'm glad I don't really deal with that anymore. The raid team I'm in now is just full of a bunch of people who are all older than me, so no petty bullshit drama. It's so nice. It's like, oh, this is how guilds should be. I'm pretty sure anyone who's been involved with their guild or raid teams for a long period of time have similar stories, and they probably know what I'm talking about. It's just I'm still friends with some of these people to this day, and I know some of them watch these videos sometimes, so I can't go into more details about it. So I'll just leave it at that. Sorry for being super vague. I really hate being vague about these things. That's why I cut it out last time, because it was either too vague or I went into detail, and I was like, I can't do that. Okay, so next one. Do you have/want any tattoos? And if so, what would it be? Do I have any tattoos? No, I don't have any. Do I want any? No, I don't. I remember when I was in high school and I was 16 years old, my best friend at the time, he got a tattoo, and his dad was a tattoo artist, so he couldn't wait till he was old enough to get a tattoo. And he offered to give me a tattoo for free, you know, from his dad, who was a professional tattoo artist, mind you. He did good work. And I was like, no thanks. And then he would pester me about it because, you know, tattoos were a big deal to him. So he's like, of course you'd want one too. Come on, it's free. You can get one wherever you want. You don't have to pay anything. I was like, no thanks. You see, I don't want something permanent on my body. It's like, what if, you know, I have a job interview in the future and I decide to become an investment banker and I regret having a tattoo on my arm or something. It's like, or what if I get something stupid and I don't like it a year from now? It's like, it's such a permanent thing, and I don't really like anything that much. Because I don't even like use wallpapers on my computer, and I have like no pictures hanged up in my room. I don't really care for those kinds of things. I'd especially not one permanently on my body. But I understand why other people like tattoos. I was like, there are some people who really care about things. I was like, oh, that's great for them. Get tattoos. That's cool. If you enjoy it and you're not hurting anyone else, you know, or yourself, go for it. In fact, I'll be a huge supporter of you because I like it when people are interested in things. I don't like it when people are lethargic and like, oh, I don't care about anything. If you care about something enough to get a tattoo of it, it's like, wow, good for you. I wish more people cared about stuff that much. But also, some people just don't really think about it that much. They just think, oh, it's a tattoo. Everybody gets one. Not really a big deal. I'll just get one of, Bowser on a surfboard with glasses while doing a double neck guitar, and it'll say, like, Happy Birthday Dave on it. Is that what it was? There was a sketch by this one group called The Whitest Kids You Know, and they had, like, a tattoo sketch. That's pretty funny. If I was ever gonna get a tattoo, I'd probably get that one. The one with Bowser on a surfboard playing a double neck guitar with it saying Happy Birthday Dave on it. I don't know. I kind of want a tattoo now just to get that one. Next question. Do you have any piercings or tattoos? And if so, what are they? I've never been asked this question before. Now I got asked 2 times in a row. Obviously, I screened the questions before I do this, so I copy and pasted both of these. So it's weird that I hadn't gotten this question at all before. All of a sudden, I get it twice. Parallel thinking. It's a really interesting thing. You should actually look that up. The concept of parallel thinking, where series of events that happen in the world influence you into thinking the same way as someone else, to where it seems as if you guys both had the same idea at the same time. It's a real psychological phenomenon. It's like, oh, you copy that idea. It's like, what? No, I didn't. It's more likely that we had parallel thinking. Of course, you can also use it to justify copying someone, so... in this case, no one was copied. It's just, I think it's parallel thinking. Piercings or tattoos? No, I don't have any tattoos, but I did have a pierced ear when I was in 3rd grade. For like a summer. Before I got infected and the earring fell out. And I think it closed up on its own and now it's fine. I never went to the doctor for it or anything, and it just kind of fixed itself. And you can't even tell I used to have an earring there, or that it got so bad that the earring literally fell out. Yeah, I don't really want an earring again. That wasn't fun. I thought it looked cool, and then I got it. And I was like, this isn't anywhere near as cool as I thought it would be. Plus I was young and stupid. I did lots of stuff when I was young and stupid. I did all of my teenage rebellion stuff when I was like 8. Through the years of 8 to 10. So I got all that stuff out of my system real early. Okay. So next question. Was it a giant pain in the ass to quake the 12 days of content? I assume he meant make and just misspelled it. Was it a giant pain in the ass to make 12 days of videos for 12 days? Yes, extremely so. I normally make like 1 video a week, 1 highly edited video a week, I might add, because I also do news videos, which are a lot easier to make. I actually recently put out a video on Patreon that goes behind the scenes with my news videos to show just how easy those are to make. It's like, those take no time at all. It's so... I have that shit down to a science. So I don't even consider those videos when I say, oh, I make 1 video a week. When I technically make 2 videos a week because of the news videos, except news videos are incredibly easy to make. You ever wonder why Bellier is able to make so many videos a week? It's because he makes news videos. Those are easy to make. But anyways... for 12 days of highly edited videos, I had to prepare for that like a month in advance. So like in the middle of November, I started preparing for it. Like, which videos am I going to make? I'm going to need scripts for all of these. What am I going to need to do in order to make all of them? For 3 of the videos, I had editors working on them. And one of them was the Yog Saron video, which required 120 drawings from an artist. So that one, in addition to all of the research that went into the video, in order to summarize all of Yog Saron's lore into a 10-minute video in a casual tone, it's actually like really hard to rewrite lore in an interesting way that's not just repeating everything verbatim. Plus I had to do the, the outline for it. You know, it's like, I need you to draw these people here, these people should be in this scene. That all took a really long time. That was just for one of the videos. Another one, actually I didn't really do much for that. He just made the video and gave it to me, and I was like, oh, that's great, because we've been working on the Inzot series for over a year now. I can just use this as one of the 12. It was more of like a case like, oh, he happened to finish the video around Christmas, so I'll just release it with the 12 days of videos. That'll save me some time. And then the other one was the editor I have working on my history videos. So the history of Frost Armors, which was supposed to be a short video. I was like, this will be an easy video to do. And then I started researching it, and I was like, why? Why are there so many changes for Frost Armor? Oh my god. So it ended up being like, what, 10 to 15 minutes long, which is really long for an edited video. So I had to get all that prepared for the editor who puts that together for me. And then I had to do the videos that I do, which all required scripts. So I think I spent like a week straight just writing scripts for the remaining videos. And then I started putting them together, like, on the 12th day, when I started uploading them. So I basically worked all 12 of those days just putting together the rest of the videos, and I had just planned it out and wrote all the scripts before then. So I only had to write one script during that time. The script for the top 10, like, items never added to the game. And that was only because I was like, oh, I already, you know, had all these videos made, because it was just a amalgamation of a bunch of videos I had already done in the past, and I just took the 10 best. So I just had to rewrite it with updated information, or just to rewrite it in general, because I don't think it's a good idea to plagiarize yourself, as in completely copy and pasting past scripts. I didn't even take a look at my scripts. I just watched the videos, and then I just rewrote it from memory, about the subject. That way it'd be as different as possible, and there'd be no biases. And a lot of people complained about that video, but the video did well. So it's like, it had a very negative reaction, but it still got lots of likes and lots of views, so it's a successful video. Plus, you know, I really upped the editing on that one when compared to all the videos I made from, you know, like a year or two ago, because I make it a point to try to improve my editing a little bit whenever I can. I don't want to be stagnant, and, well, I just don't want to be stagnant, so I try to improve my editing a little bit over time. And I can tell if I watch a video from 2 years ago to a video I've made, you know, from the 12 days of uploads, it's like night and day. One of them is just way better quality than the other ones. Or if I go back to the beginning of the channel from like 4 years ago, those videos are garbage, and I can't even stand watching them anymore. Especially since I didn't really take the recording part of it. You know, the audio and the pronunciation of the scripts. I used to just not really care too much. I was like, it's good enough. So I can't really stand listening to the videos from as early as like a year ago. Because I still get lazy sometimes. It's not like all the ones I do now are perfect. It's just I think I have improved my script reading a lot more in the past year. And I can't really stand my old videos anymore from more than a year ago. With some exceptions. There are some videos that I think are just really good. Why am I talking? Oh yeah, for the 12 days of videos. So yeah, I worked from like the middle of November up until Christmas Eve, because that's when the artist finally gave me the last drawing for the Yogg video, and then I had to put that together, but that took like an hour. That's just when I happened to get the last of the drawings. I was able to put that up for Christmas Eve? No, wait. I guess it was the day before Christmas Eve, because I was able to take Christmas Eve off, which was amazing. And then I had Christmas off, and then I took the next 2 weeks off after I was done, because that was so much work. I was working so much because editing requires so much brain power that I basically just had like a constant headache the whole time. And I was like, okay, should I be worried about this? It's like, I am like 99% sure this headache is caused by just the amount of work I'm doing right now, because editing is very mentally draining. Like, for those of you who don't know, people with like very mental heavy jobs, like say professional chess player, where you know everything is in their mind, like mid matches they'll usually like chug sodas or coffee with tons of sugar in it, or you know super high sugar teas, or just eating cake or candy, just pure sugar. Like some of them will just have pure glucose tablets, which is like pure sugar, and just put it in water and just drink that, because your brain only uses glucose to work on, so pure sugar. So if you're doing any kind of like mentally straining thing, like maybe you work at a computer all day, or you know you go to school all day and you have to study or read a lot, that's very mentally draining. The best way to recharge yourself after doing that is to just get pure sugar into your body. So the way I do that, because pure sugary things are also incredibly unhealthy for you, so you can't just constantly be eating like cake and cookies and donuts, because that'll destroy your body. So what I have instead are like Kool-Aid jammers, which are basically like Capri Suns, except they're Kool-Aid, and they're basically just flavored sugar water, and they're very low on calories. Like each one has like 30 calories or something, which is like a tenth of the calories in a can of soda. Well, it might be a little bit more than that. I think it's more like a fifth. A tenth is probably too much. A fifth of the amount of calories. I mean, anything with like sugar in it is probably not super healthy, but I think that's like as healthy as you can get for just getting pure sugar into your body. Outside of just eating pure sugar, or just putting sugar into a cup of water, which would probably work too, but I think a Kool-Aid jammer tastes better. That being said, that all to say, is with how much work I was doing, I could totally feel it, and I was like, man, my body is just breaking down from this. I'm not used to working this hard. So, as soon as I was able to stop, it was so great. I just took the whole day off. I just played video games, I think, or actually just kind of laid down because my head kind of hurt. And then like a day or two later, all of my problems are gone. Like literally it was just from working so much. That was a nice relief. But it's like, yeah, so turns out if you spend all your time researching scripts and editing videos, it tends to drain on your mental health and your brain, and it doesn't like that, and you start getting headaches and stuff. Even if you take, you know, hourly breaks from the computer, or if you have special glasses which are supposed to reduce screen flare, it's just too much work, just because of how mentally taxing editing is. So the original question, was it a giant pain in the ass to make 12 days of video? Considering I usually make one video a week, yes, that was literally 12 times more work than I usually do. Because I usually make, you know, like one video a week, so that's 4 videos a month. 4 highly edited videos a month. And in this case, it was 8, I think, because 3 of them I didn't make. Because those are the editors. I just had to write scripts for them. Well, I only had to write scripts for 2 of them. One of them I wrote the script for like a year ago. And 2 of the videos were just explore videos, which are super easy to make. Like flying around Silver Moon City or Deep Home. Those videos probably took a couple hours each, which is super short for a video. So, I think my mouth is clicking right now. What was I saying? So that's 3 videos plus those 2 really easy explore videos. So that's 5 videos right there I didn't have to make. What's 5 minus 12? 7, right? So I only had to actually make 7 videos. Well, 7 fully edited videos. If you don't count the 2 explore videos or the 3 videos that my editors make. So 7 videos, one of which was 20 minutes long, mind you. Why the hell? I remember that. I was like, these are all supposed to be quick videos, because I intentionally chose all of them to, like, some of them will be just ones I've always wanted to do, but I didn't think they were good enough to carry a week. It's like, oh, this is the video you're turning out for the week, and it's only 2 minutes long, and it's about a toy item that can't be used in raids. That's dumb. I was like, oh, well, that will fit perfectly in a time frame where I'm uploading 12 videos back to back. And then there's one like the history of mounts, which was 20 minutes long and would have been a great video on any other week. In fact, that would have been a video I probably would have spent all week working on. And instead I had to rush it out. I still think it looks great for being rushed out, mind you. But that being the case, it was still a 20-minute video. A 20-minute fully edited video that required special footage. That one took a long time. So did the items video, because I had to remake all the footage. A lot of them just took so long to make. Oh my god. I'm so glad I don't have to do that. Next year I'm not doing that. I can't do that again. I want to do something special for Christmas, just because the ad revenue is so good. But I can't do 12 videos like that again. It was just too much. My head was hurting. And I was too tired. But I have some ideas for that. Like maybe, you know, do a top 10, but do it like a really long top 10, and then just do one of the places each day for 10 days until Christmas, or I don't know. Something with 12. 12 seems nice. Maybe 25, a top 25. Because I remember Team 4-Star, they did like the top 25 Dragon Ball Z games before Christmas. That was a fun video. I'm not going to do that, but I can do something similar to that. I just can't do 12 fully edited videos like that again. I did do that 2 years ago, so I knew how hard it was. But my editing has improved a lot more than it was back then, even though those were all fully edited videos as well. So it was actually a little bit harder this time around just because my editing is better. And I didn't want to be lazy. I was like, okay, now I'm going to spend an hour doing a whole bunch of little touch-up shit that no one will notice, but it will make the video look better. And I was like, I can't be lazy about it. It's like, okay, now it's time to spend an hour to find music for this, because music can really make the video better, even though people don't really notice, but they'll notice if it's not there. Because there wasn't any music in the history of Frost Armor's video, and people did notice that, and I was like, oops. Oops, my bad. I forgot to add that in, or I forgot to tell the editor to put it in. Okay, enough about that. Let's go into the next question. Hey Hiru, what is your biggest dream? Name all the places you'd like to visit someday. Your favorite holiday? Which is your favorite WoW music / soundtrack? And what kind of music do you enjoy? Where is the best place to look for the truth? Is the shadows or in the light? You don't know the way of the devil. You need to have Ebola to know the way. I think he asked this question before that meme was even a thing. Okay, so what is your biggest dream? My biggest dream is to have invisibility. But if you mean like the biggest realistic dream, I'd still really want invisibility or psychic powers. That's great. Otherwise, I don't know, be super rich. Being super rich is like a superpower in its own, and that's actually attainable. Name all the places you'd like to visit someday. I'd really like to visit Japan someday. Maybe some countries in Europe. Your favorite holiday? Christmas. Followed by Halloween. And then like Thanksgiving. And then I really like Valentine's Day, just because I love chocolate. Even though I've never been in a relationship for Valentine's Day, I've always associated the holiday with good memories just because of how much I love chocolate. And I'd be like, score! Half off chocolate on the day after Valentine's Day. Because I remember I used to go to the store and just buy like as much chocolate as I could, because it was all 50% off. I remember one year when I was like in middle school, I bought 2 10-pound bags of chocolate, and I spent like the next 2 months eating them, just like every day. That was fun. Nothing but positive memories with Valentine's Day. And whatchamacallit? What is your favorite WoW music soundtrack? And what kind of music do you enjoy? I like the Grizzly Hills music and the Karazhan music. Those are the only two I can think of off the top of my head. Plus, some of the music in the new Argus raid is pretty great. I remember actually noticing the music in Argus's room, which, by the way, is probably like one of the best fights ever made. It's so good looking. What kind of music do you enjoy? All kinds. I don't think I really have a genre I enjoy more than the others. If I like a song, then I add it to my iPod, basically. And my iPod has a whole bunch of different songs on it. And I can't really think of a central theme beyond all of them. Other than maybe like 25% of it is anime type music. But then again, that's a whole bunch of different types of music as well. There's also like, whatchamacallit, the epic stuff. I can't really think of a name for it. It's usually called epic music if you look on it online, like 2 Steps from Hell and stuff like that. Plus, just a whole bunch of other things that I just liked. Like Linkin Park. I have a couple of those songs too. Some Hatsune Miku. And a whole bunch of other things. I also have Rap God by Eminem. I like that song. I think I even have like a couple of hip-hop songs. No country, though. I think. Pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I don't have all types of music, obviously, but I have a lot of different types. And I don't really enjoy one type of music over the others. What is the best place to look for the truth? Is it in the shadows or the light? You need to have Ebola to know the truth. Hiru, what non-Blizzard games do you play? You should start a Discord for your fans to promote your content. What non-Blizzard games do I play? Yu-Gi-Oh! I play a ton of Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links and just Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro because I have a Yu-Gi-Oh! Channel. If you guys didn't know, I have a Yu-Gi-Oh! Channel called The Duel Logs with like 20,000 subscribers. It's not half bad on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Side of YouTube. Besides Yu-Gi-Oh!, I play Battle Right now. I love Battle Right. That game is so fun. If you're asking for specifically non-Blizzard games. Otherwise, I'd say I play a shit ton... Oops, I said a cuss word. A lot of Hearthstone and Overwatch and Diablo whenever a new season starts up. I don't really like Overwatch, but I play a lot of it. Just because my friend really likes Overwatch. And so whenever we play together, we usually play Overwatch. Or Battle Right, because I've gotten her into that too now. So that's nice. It'd be so much better just to play more Battle Right over Overwatch. Because I don't like first-person shooters. Despite playing enough Overwatch to have prestiged already. I was like, oh, I've played enough of this game where, you know, I reached max level and it went over again. I was like, and I don't even like this game. I've never played a game so much that I didn't really like before. It's kind of weird to think about. I don't even know what kind of feeling I have about that. Next question. Hey, Hiru, will you be playing Vanilla/Classic when it comes out? If not, why? If yes, why? Or do you not even care? Hell yeah, I'll be playing Vanilla/Classic when it comes out. Because I'm going to get all that footage. You think I'm not going to be making videos on that when it comes out? I have a channel dedicated to World of Warcraft. And I'll be legally obligated... Not legally obligated, that's not the right word for it. I'll be morally allowed to make videos about Vanilla WoW while it's current content. In some form. Which would be great, because there's crossover between the two. Because people who play Legion now really love vanilla videos. So I'd be stupid not to get on that hype train. Especially since it seems kind of fun to do anyway. So yes, I'll be playing just because I'm recording all that footage and making a whole bunch of videos. Next question. Don't kill yourself over video quality. Most here are here for the content, and you as a YouTuber, I'm sure. Don't stress it. By the way, I like these videos. You see, I'm sure they're here for my content and for me because I've tried to improve my video quality. You should watch some of the earlier videos on my channel and then watch videos from, you know, the 12 days of video uploads where I actually kind of rushed all those videos out. It's like night and day. Even videos that I rush out are still so much better edited than stuff I used to do back in the day, just because I've pushed myself to improve over time. I'm still not the best, mind you. I think the best video editor on the WoW side of YouTube is the Lost Codex. That's like the golden standard. And if I were to rank myself, I'd put myself, in the middle of the pack. I don't think my stuff's very good when compared to some of the really good stuff. But it's definitely towards more the high middle, I'd say. It's pretty good, I think. Okay, so next question. Which character or characters in WoW are you hoping get their story developed / are heavily involved in the plot in the near future? Wrathion. The answer is 100% Wrathion, and oh my god, am I mad at Blizzard for not putting Wrathion in Legion, because, like, where do I even begin with that? Wrathion is an incredibly major lore character. Like, in Cataclysm, he was involved in the legendary Dagger questline, and then in Mist of Pandaria, he was involved with all classes because he was the person who gave you the legendary cloak that you worked the entire expansion for. And his whole story was that he wanted to prepare the world for the Burning Legion. It'd be like, what if you created a character whose entire purpose was to fight an army, and he spent all of his time manipulating people in the shadows in order to build an army, and then you have an expansion where that army actually shows up, and he's nowhere to be found. That's what happened with Wrathion. There was no reason for him not to be involved. The Legion was everything to him. That's why he manipulated both sides of the Horde and the Alliance. It was to have a united fight for when the Legion finally came, because he knew who the real enemies were. He's like, there's no way we could ever possibly hope to stand against the Legion, especially if the factions are always fighting each other. And then he doesn't do anything for the entire expansion, where through like some miracle they're actually able to beat the Legion. Oh my god, I'm so mad. It's so frustrating. It's like, you can't do that, but that's exactly what they did. It's so stupid. Oh my god. Because Wrathion's also like one of just my favorite lore characters too. And I kept waiting for him to show up. Like every new patch, I check the notes to see like, oh, when's Wrathion coming in? Because, maybe they're just saving him for the good stuff. And then, nope, we beat Argus, and then the Titans come back and they jail Sargeras. And that's basically the end of the Legion for now. Unless Sargeras escapes or something. And it's like, Wrathion was also the reason Warlords of Draenor happened. He was one of the people who broke Garrosh out. It's like, he is so important to lore. They can't just leave him out of the expansion that his entire character is built around fighting. But that's exactly what they did. That makes me mad thinking about it. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Next video. Hopefully they do something with him in the next expansion to explain why he didn't do shit in Legion. I should also probably mention he did show up in the alpha for Legion in the place of Evan Blackhorn in High Mountain, which would have made sense, because at least he would be involved in Legion. But instead they added Blackhorn, which I liked. I liked that storyline. It's just they should have also did something with Wrathion as well, instead of just replacing him with a different character. A good character, mind you. I'm very interested to see how he interacts with Wrathion in the future. But they didn't actually ever do anything with Wrathion after taking him out. And they should have. He is so okay, whatever. Let's see, what's the next question? There's only like 2 more left. What medical problems do you have? I have IBS and costochondritis. Irritable bowel syndrome just means I get like really bad stomach pains or pains on my sides if I eat certain foods. So, and the certain foods, I mean like just random shit. Like, I can't have apples or pears, but I am allowed to have like bananas or oranges. Well, actually, I think oranges are bad too. And it's like I can have some vegetables, but not others because some will mess you up. And I can have some meats, no matter how greasy they are, like bacon, totally fine. But no sausage or like hamburgers or stuff. It's just really random foods I'm not allowed to have. Like, I can't have pizza either because something about pizza just really hurts my stomach. But if I have gluten-free pizza, it's fine. I don't know. It's weird, and I'll have like really bad stomach pains. But as long as I just stick to my restricted diet, which involves a lot of foods, like I can still eat a lot of good foods because it's not just, you know, I can't eat anything unhealthy anymore. It's more like I just can't eat certain foods anymore, which is fine because there's alternatives and there's just other good foods I am allowed to have. So it's not a big deal. I just have to watch what I eat. And I've pretty much figured that out, so I don't really have problems with that anymore. Because I've just kind of gotten used to the new diet. And costochondritis, it's a chest condition. Like, on the actual chest itself, and not the inside. So it has nothing to do with my internal organs. It's literally like the chest muscles. So the symptoms, when it hurts, are pretty much exactly the same as a heart attack. So it's really concerning when I first got it, because I'm like, oh no, there's something seriously wrong with me. But it turns out it's just like literally the chest area itself, and it's just a minor thing that I could deal with as long as I made some lifestyle changes in order to fix it. And it's not really a big deal anymore. I have a standing desk, and I stretch 2 times a day. And I found like my chest actually stopped hurting a lot more after I got sick in November. And that was because every time I get sick, I like to try new medications. Because I think it's really stupid that some people will get sick and then just not take anything for it and just try to tough it out. And I was like, who are you trying to impress? Why are you intentionally allowing yourself to feel bad when there are so many drugs you can buy from the store that you don't even like a prescription for that can make you feel better? It's so dumb. I don't understand it at all. But then again, some people think it's cool to say that they're not cold outside or something. It's just one of those things people do. They just don't take medications when they're sick. I'm the complete opposite though. I don't do stupid shit. So I'll go to the store and buy a whole bunch of new medications. I was like, okay, so I know some things that work. But I'm going to try these ones out this time to see if these work even better. So one of the things I tried out was Advil instead of ibuprofen for like the sore throat. Because I read online, it was like, ooh, try taking Advil because there's like this special thing about it that helps with inflammation, that'll help with your throat. And after taking that, my chest stopped hurting. Just like completely. Because it used to be, like, I did all these lifestyle changes in order to lessen the pain on my chest, but it's a condition I'll basically just live with for the rest of my life. I'll still have pains. And basically, I'd have, like, 1 flare-up or 2 flare-ups on a bad day where it just hurts for a little bit and for, like, a couple of seconds, and then it goes away. And then maybe I can go, like, a day or 2 without any flare-ups. But after I got sick, I've probably had like 1 or 2 flare-ups in the past 2 months. When it used to be I'd have 1 or 2 every day, and I thought that was good. Because back when it was really bad, I'd have flare-ups every hour. It was just like constant. But even then, when I thought it was only like every couple of hours, it's like, oh, this isn't half bad anymore. I can live with it if it's only every couple of hours. And then when it was only like once every couple days, it was like, oh, this is even better. This isn't even a problem anymore. And then after I got sick, they've just basically been gone. Like, not 100% gone, but like way better than they used to be. And I think it might have been the Advil because like it said it was supposed to be for anti-inflammation in your throat. And costochondritis, the chest condition I have, is an inflammation type thing. And I guess it kind of works on that. Or maybe it was just a coincidence that I happened to also get better. Because usually costochondritis, it'll go through cycles where it'll hurt. And then it will just, stop hurting for a couple of months and then it will come back. And maybe it was just a coincidence that I happened to go through the cycle where it stops hurting as much at the same time that I got sick. But I think it's probably more likely that it was just one of the medications I took, because I like to experiment with new medications when I get sick. So, that's good news for me though, because I really like not having chest pains anymore. But I'm pretty sure, they're not 100% gone. I can still feel it sometimes, like once every couple of weeks now. I was like, oh right, I still have that thing. But man, I used to have this daily. This is great. I'm totally fine with dealing with this every couple of weeks now, instead of every day. Even when it was every day, it wasn't a big deal. Even when it was every couple of hours, that wasn't a big deal. I was like, oh, this is only every couple of hours. That's not a problem, because it's only for a little bit. And at least I know it's not a heart attack. That was the biggest thing, was all of the medical anxiety I got. That was the biggest problem of all the medical problems, because every little ache or pain, I was like, oop, it's the big C. I was like, oh no. When my head was hurting, when I was making the 12 days of videos, I was like, well, I read this thing online about how someone got a headache and they ignored it and it turned out to be an aneurysm. That's probably what it is. Well, I guess I'm gonna die. It's like, oh no, my stomach hurts a little bit. Well, I haven't eaten all day, but you never know, it's probably the big C. I was like, oh, I'm a little bit lightheaded. Well, I haven't eaten in the last 5 hours. Probably the big C. Stubbed my toe. Oh, damn it, it's the big C. I'm joking about it, but that's kind of what medical anxiety is. Every time anything little bad happens to you, you think, oh, got cancer. I don't really have that anymore, though. But I have to be careful, because anxiety can just come back, like that. And last question, I guess. So this question is one I get a lot, and it wasn't really asked on the video itself. It's just it's like one of the most asked questions people will do when they send me a private message through one of my social media websites. Oh, wait. On that one question, do you play any non-Blizzards games? You should start a Discord server. I do have a Discord server. Because I was just thinking, because I got this question through Discord today as well. Yeah, I have a Discord server now. I'm not going to put a link, though, because I want it to be small. And if I put a link out somewhere, then there'll be a link out somewhere. So, right now, the only way to get in is through invite only. Or during a stream, because my mods, because they're all in the Discord, they like to spam the Discord server link during streams. Which is fine. I don't have any rules about that. It's just I'm not going to put a link out there myself. But there is a Discord now. And I got asked today on Discord, but I also got asked, in Facebook or on Twitter, how do you get started with a YouTube channel? And it's like, well, do you want the real answer or the fake answer that you're probably expecting? Oh, just, make whatever you want and you'll eventually get there. Just try it. I guess that's okay advice. If you want to start doing a YouTube channel, the best thing you can do is to just make videos and to be consistent about it. Those are the two things you have to do. Because a lot of people who start YouTube channels, they'll go gung-ho and make, a whole bunch of videos for the first couple of weeks and then burn out and stop. I think it's better to make a new video once a week for 12 weeks than it would be to make 12 videos in 2 weeks. Just because you'll start getting into a habit, and you want to develop habits for these things. Because habits are like cheat codes for your brain. If you can get something into a habit, That is the best way to get anything done, because then your body will want to do that action, because that's how powerful habits are. And being consistent is one of the best things you can do, because I like to say that a lot to people who ask me this question, because I know 90% of them will stop, because it always happens. I've been at this for a long time. And like one of my favorite things to do when I first started YouTube was to browse the r/let's play subreddit over on Reddit. It's still a thing now, and it's still exactly how it was back then. Just a whole bunch of small channels with like less than 100 subscribers talking about how they can get new subscribers or more views, or just telling stories about their channel, which is all a lot of fun things to read when you're starting out yourself too. It's like, oh, I'm starting off as well. I can relate to all of this. It's like, oh, they're having mic problems. I have that too. Oh, they're having problems, you know, coming up with ad-libbing. It's like, oh, I understand that as well. It's like, oh, render problems. Man, you don't know render problems until you render out 5 Yu-Gi-Oh videos at once. Your computer is basically just a rendering machine at that point. But a lot of the things was, they'd all give like the same advice, but the advice was always just not very good, and people would get dismayed after doing, you know, their channel for like a year and only getting 50 subscribers, and it's like, oh, is there something wrong with me? How come people aren't watching my stuff? And it's like, well, as someone who has actually succeeded in this, let me tell you what you should do. What you should do is not make Let's Plays. That's like one of the things I want to say. It's like, okay, so tell me, how often do you go on YouTube and search for random Let's Plays from people who have, you know, like less than 100 subscribers? Not very often, do you? I wouldn't think so, because that's like one of the #1 things people do when they start making videos. It's like, ooh, I like this kind of video. I'm gonna start making it myself. Thinking of only the popular people, and they've probably never actually looked into the smaller side of that community before. And so they see the successful people and try to copy them, but they don't see all of the not successful people who've been doing this for years and not getting anywhere, and then wonder how come they're part of them and not part of the successful people. And it's like, well, you have to think more into it of that. You have to do this thing called market research. Now, that is the biggest advice I give, is to do market research. Usually when I say that, though, people just like their eyes gloss over, because I know most of them don't really do that. You have to know like what does well in your market, and you have to know how to tell if something's doing well. It's like, why are these videos doing well? You have to look into it. Like, to take the WoW community, for example. Videos that do well within the WoW community include top 10s. People fucking love top 10s like you wouldn't believe. Videos about vanilla WoW. People fucking love vanilla WoW videos. Videos about mounts. People, you know, really like videos about mounts. I'm not going to say any cuss words, though, but I could say that as well. Those are the 3 types of videos that do incredibly well on the WoW side of YouTube. And how do I know this? Because of market research. I've made the videos, and I've tested them out, and those kinds of videos just do well than other ones. All things being similar. Same with other channels. I check them as like, what are the best videos on their channels? Oh, there's a pattern to the kinds of videos that do well. Maybe I should do that as well. What a thought. Make videos that you'd want to watch. That's another good one. Also, don't be afraid to copy other people. When you're first starting out, that's actually a really good thing to do, is just, you know, copy a YouTuber you like. Try to make videos like they make. And then eventually you'll develop your own style from copying them. I think that's like a really popular thing that artists do. Like, they'll just copy the art style of their favorite artist, and then eventually they develop their own through that. Kind of the same for YouTube videos. And another thing I always like to link is the YouTube channel Video Creators. It's a YouTube channel dedicated to video creation on YouTube, and it has a ton of just legit advice. Like, I tell them, okay, so you want to get started on YouTube? Here, I'm going to link you this guy's channel. Go on there and watch all of his videos. And then do what he says to do on those videos, and you'll succeed. Pretty sure no one actually does that, though, because it's like, I wanted an easy answer, though. You know, like, make top 10 videos. It's like, yeah, sure, make top 10 videos. Those will do well, but there's so much more to it than that. And if you watch this guy's channel, you'll understand that. It's part of market research, which you have to do. You can't ignore market research unless you just want to get lucky and do well doing, you know, whatever you want, which doesn't happen very often. But some people will also complain about not doing well, you know, despite doing YouTube for a while, and then never do anything to change. They'll just keep doing exactly what they've always been doing and not grow. And it's like, well, obviously you're not growing, because why would you grow now if you weren't growing before, if you're doing exactly the same thing? Despite, you know, maybe your quality's getting better, that's good, but you still have to do something to get people to your channel in the first place. You have to work the rankings, what people are searching out for. You have to do market research. Oh my god, that's crazy. It's almost like, you know, you have to treat it like a business, kind of. But I've also found that a lot of people who continue to do YouTube, like, there's a special kind of person who can spend as long as it takes to make a video, you know, and keep doing it despite not getting any reinforcement or not doing very well. A lot of YouTubers are kind of weird, because you have to be kind of weird in order to do it, just because it is incredibly time consuming, and you have to be able to take criticism, because people are really mean on the internet, in case you guys haven't ever figured this out before. And it's just, you know, a lot of hard work. It's a lot of creative work. And there's a lot of grinding, unless you just get really lucky at the start. And it takes a special kind of person, because a normal person generally won't put up with that, or even attempt it in the first place. So you have to be a little weird in order to even attempt it in the first place, because it's unconventional. It's an unconventional thing to do, or to try to do. And that's been kind of true. I don't think I've ever really met a YouTuber who wasn't a little bit weird in one way or another. Actually, off the top of my head, I can think probably the most normal person I've met is, like, Crucial, probably. I probably shouldn't use real names, though. I mean, real channel names. But everybody's a little bit weird, me included. So you have to be in order to do this. And because all these people are kind of weird, they're also the kind of the people who would never do market research, and instead are just the kinds of people who are just, you know, super creative and just want to do whatever they want, and also want to grow doing whatever they want, but then get upset when they don't grow doing whatever they want, and then not do anything about it, except just be bitter that they hadn't grown doing whatever they wanted, despite wanting to grow, but not wanting, you know, I've harped on that enough. So, how do you get started with the YouTube channel? Be consistent, do market research, you know, and actually enjoy what you're doing to some extent. I'm not going to say only do what will do well, because you have to find some kind of balance. Even I make videos that don't do well just because I enjoy it. But that's not to say I hate making top 10s either. If I hated doing them, I wouldn't do them anymore, no matter how good they do. Kind of like I hate doing guides, so I don't do them anymore. Despite guides, I should also mention guides do very well. It is a really good way to grow your channel, is to have guides. Because guides get tons of search traffic. Because if you want to learn how to do something, a lot of people would rather watch a video than read an article. So guides are actually a really good way to grow. They're also incredibly tedious to make. So boring. Like, oh my god, I don't understand how anyone can do these for a living. I said making news videos are easy, but Belluar also does lots of guide videos, which are hard to make. So that guy, I don't knock on his work ethic just because, you know, he does news videos. He also does lots of guide videos, which are difficult. I was like, I don't know how he does that. That's insane. Guides are so boring to make. How can you keep up with that output? Because they're mind-numbing and they require so much research, and you have to get everything perfect because people will call you out on even the smallest, tiniest mistake, even if they're wrong. If enough people say that you're wrong despite them being wrong, well, I don't think that ever happens. It probably does. You have to make sure all your research is correct, and you have to put the boring video together. I don't get how people can make guides. Oh, at least news videos are easy. But news videos don't really get a lot of views unless, you know, you clickbait it. The only reason I started doing news videos was like as an experiment to see, do news videos just do well on their own? The answer is, if you're timely about it, maybe. But news videos are also easy to make, so anyone can do it. So there's lots of channels that do it. Guide videos, a lot harder to make. Very boring to make, but they do well. That's also a good way to grow, especially if you're, you know, completely uncreative. You don't have to be in order to make guide videos. So that's great, because I know there's lots of people who want to do YouTube videos, but they also don't think they're creative enough to do it. And in which case, you can still succeed. You can just make news or guide videos instead, because those, well, news videos don't really do very well, but guide videos do. Well, yeah, there's some specific advice for WoW. It's different for other, you know, niches and communities as well. What works on WoW obviously doesn't also work on like the Yu-Gi-Oh side, because that's a whole another bag of worms. It's like, do you want advice on how to be a good Yu-Gi tuber? Because that's what they're called in the Yu-Gi-Oh side. I can give you advice for that as well. But it's basically the same thing. You could just do your goddamn market research and then put that research into practice. Also, it helps if you know how to edit. So learn how to edit. Sony Vegas is the best video editor because it's user-friendly and it actually is, you know, you can do everything on it. If you want to get into the fancy stuff, you're going to need After Effects. There are two different video editors you can get. There's Sony Vegas and Premiere Pro. Those are the two most common types. I know how to use both of them. I also took a class in college on how to do Premiere Pro, so I'm an expert on Premiere Pro. And I can tell you for a fact that Sony Vegas is better. Because I know there's a lot of YouTubers who will argue that. That's like one of the biggest ones, is like, which one's better, Sony Vegas or Premiere Pro? And usually people will argue which one they're used to as being the easiest, despite never using the other one. And as someone who has extensively used both of them, Sony Vegas is more user-friendly, which means you can get, it's just faster to do editing stuff, because Premiere Pro requires more steps to do simple things, in which in Sony Vegas, they're a lot easier to do and they require less clicks, which makes editing quicker, which makes Sony Vegas better. But if you want to eventually go on to more advanced stuff, the layout for Premiere Pro is the same as After Effects. So it could actually prepare you for when you eventually go into After Effects in order to create fancy stuff. But After Effects should not be used as a video editor. I know some people who use After Effects as a video editor, and I'm like, oh my god, what's wrong with you? That's a terrible idea, because After Effects is a terrible video editor, but it is an amazing video creation tool. What you do in After Effects is you like make the fancy stuff, and then you render out like those 5-second clips, and then you put them into a real video editor, because those ones are a lot more user-friendly and not completely insane. Because After Effects has so many intricate options and a whole bunch of different ways to do everything, that's what makes it a good video creation tool. But it also makes it a terrible video editor, because video editing itself is simple. You don't need all those bells and whistles in order to do simple things, like just add audio to something. Adding audio to things in After Effects is a huge pain in the ass. So bad. Like, you have no idea. So a case could be made for Premiere Pro. Because it's such a pain in the ass to use, it could actually prepare you for After Effects, because a lot of the shortcuts are the same. Because Premiere Pro and After Effects are both Adobe products. So a lot of the keybinds and stuff are the same between both of them. So if you know After Effects, Premiere Pro is probably easier for you since you're used to it. But I'd highly recommend using Sony Vegas instead, because it's more user-friendly. And it requires less clicks to do stuff. But if you want to do fancy stuff, you're going to have to learn After Effects, which is difficult to use. And I still have to look up tutorials whenever I want to learn how to do something else that I don't know already, just because it's so incredibly complicated. But it makes your videos look better. That's how I do all those fancy graphics, you know, like in the lower thirds, or like the intro text, where it has that red line going up and down, or whenever I do any of the kind of fancy intros, that's all done in After Effects. Alright, so I just realized I went on huge tangents about stuff that a lot of people don't care about. Like, do you guys really care about market research and how important it is? Or which is the best video editing software? Probably not. Okay, so in order to end off this video, I thought it would be fun to tell stories from my life that generally don't come up in videos. Last Q&A, I told the story about how my mom walked in on my job interview, which is like, oh, that's a funny story, I guess. This time we'll talk about the Turk story in which I created titles for porn videos. So, to preface this, this took place in the year after I got fired from my old job, and like the year and a half it took me in order to get YouTube off the ground, because I got fired from my job and I all of a sudden had a bunch of free time, so I started making YouTube videos. But I didn't actually start making enough from YouTube videos until a year and a half later to actually pay my bills without having to also do freelance work. And freelance work is just a fancy term I like to use for a whole bunch of different things I had to do online. One of them was called Turk. Turk is this program by Amazon, which allows you to do a whole bunch of small tasks for small amounts of money. I remember, as an example, there was this one really good hit where this company would give you like 5 search terms in which they wanted you to go on Google and copy and paste the search term, and then copy and paste the first result into, you know, the website. And you just do this for like the 5 links they give you. It's like, type in Victorian housing, you type it into Google, and then you copy and paste the URL from the first one that wasn't an ad, and then you paste it, and you do it for the next one, and you do 5 searches, and they gave you 8 cents for it. You know, that's a really good example of just, you know, they'd pay you small amounts of money for micro tasks. So the Google one I described, they'd allow you to do it like 5 times a day before. You know, they'd lock you out, and it's like, well, you can't do any more of these hits today because, you know, we only want so many hits from your IP address. So maybe you can come back tomorrow. And it was just a whole bunch of like little tedious bullshit things like that. Also, a lot of them were like surveys, you know, like psychological surveys. Or, you know, it's like, are you a male in this age group or something? Answer this survey. And in the survey, they'd have like trick questions in it. It's like, okay, this question is just to see if you're actually reading the questions. Hit the strongly do not agree button here. And you just do that. So you have to make sure you read everything, because there's always trick questions. Sometimes they'll be riddled with trick questions. Sometimes they'll be like one. But there's always a trick question in those surveys. So you have to read all of them and answer them truthfully, which I think is fair. Especially since some of the surveys would pay like 20 cents. Like, oh my god, so much money. I hated it so much. I don't miss Turk. Like, if you need to make money, There are ways to make money online, but my god, is it tedious. I do not miss having to do MTurk. That all to say, one of the hits was to come up with porn titles. So it was actually a really good hit too. Because I think they paid like 8 cents per hit, and there was no limit on them. Like the Google one, that was considered a really good one because it was 8 cents, and all you do is just 5 Google searches. But you can only do it like 5 times a day, and sometimes not even that. They'd sometimes lock you out for a couple of days before they let you do it again. Or sometimes they just run out, and you have to wait for them to put more hits up. But this porn one was like 8 cents a hit, and there was no limit on it. All you had to do was they gave you like a huge amount of photos, which were basically just screenshots from a video, and they're like, we need you to type in the tags for what this video might be about. I was like, okay, so this is definitely scat. It has a blowjob in it. Oh, there's also missionary. You know, stuff like that. You type in tags, and then they'd say, okay, now think up a title for what this video could possibly be about. I was like, okay, guy gets pooped on, and then something like that. Which did not take very long. Like, it probably took like a minute to go through and put tags in and think of a title, and then you hit submit, and then you could do another one, and there was no limit on it. So I was like, oh my god, this is an amazing hit. It's so easy to do, and it pays well for MTurk, which means it pays, you know, absolute garbage. If you worked full-time in MTurk, you made less than minimum wage. If you're doing well. Because sometimes the hits just wouldn't pay out. So you'd sometimes spend like 30 minutes on a survey that would probably give you $1, and then they don't give you a confirmation code at the end. It's like, well, I wasted all that time. So this porn one was really good. So it also came up a lot too. So whenever that came out, I'd always make sure to do as many as I could. So technically, I had a job which required me to create porn titles for videos on the internet. You know, in like the literal technical sense of it. But that wasn't really my main job. It was just something that appeared on MTurk, and it paid well. So I made sure to do all of them. So I thought that was a funny story. I used to make porn titles, but you know, not in the way you'd think. It was part of MTurk, so it doesn't really count. It's not real. I wonder why they did that. I never really understood why they asked you to do a whole bunch of these things. I remember one of the hits asked you to do math. It would just give you like a really long number and add it with another really long number. And I'd be like, well, let me bust out my calculator. And then you type it in and you got paid like 15 cents. That one perplexed me. I was like, why do they want us to do math? I didn't really get a lot of them. I could probably guess the porn title thing was just, you know, to see if their bots were working well and just compare them to human results. Like, that could probably make sense. Or the Google thing, you know, just to see what the Google searches were like for people on different IP addresses. That kind of makes sense. I can kind of see it. But if you're ever poor and you really need to make money, I do not recommend MTurk. I recommend you just get a minimum wage job. It'll save you so much time and headache because it is so hard for so little pay. And I remember thinking, man, buying stuff off the dollar menu? What am I, super rich? Do you know how long I have to work on MTurk in order to make that much money from the dollar menu? Oh god, I was so poor. I did other stuff besides MTurk too during that time period. But MTurk was like the most consistent source of income I had. So I also did freelance video editing, freelance other stuff. Oh, okay, so that's it for that. That's it for the Q&A video. If you have any questions for the next one, just leave it below in the comments, and I'll cherry pick the ones I like the most.